Hi, I'm Harold from 11C. You may know me as the loud person on the auditorium stage who sells pastoral issues, fundraising products, or student society events with stupid humor. You may also know me as the greedy little boy who take as many roles as I can and exhaust myself out of them. But is this what defines me? Aside from these things, what have I actually done? In this CAS interview, I would like to introduce more of myself to you through 3 aspects. 1. The half marathon that I ran in this January. Yes, Harold does do sports. And 2. The challenges I faced and lessons I learned from Chinese debate and house activities. And 3. The best moments from my CAS challenge week. Let's go. The first CAS activity that I would like to talk about is the marathon that took place in this January. I've been running the Standard Chartered 10 km marathon for 2 years already, and this year is the first time I tried a 21 km half marathon. Unlike the casual run that I did in the previous years, this half marathon actually requires much training. This is exceptionally hard for a lazy person like me. But nevertheless, out of determination and promise to myself, I found myself a coach and designed a training plan for 3 months. In this plan, I was not only running around a park, I bike, I hike, and even run on hills. Hence, I started from running 30 minutes and feeling stomach ache to being able to run for 2 hours consistently. Every time I finish my practice in a shorter time, or I try paths of steeper slope, or hike on a steeper mountain, I just feel very satisfied. Hence, this process of self-training actually teaches me the importance of perseverance, and the fact that I was able to finish the marathon in a good time seriously proves to me that my effort does have a return. You know, every time you run a long run, out of boredom and tiredness, you usually ask yourself just, why I'm here, why I'm doing this. But as you go through that process and commit throughout, you'll be able to enjoy the outcomes. I mean, I can actually feel that my physical build and body health is better. I can chase bus 81 faster, I can run 150 meters in sports day. That's all benefits that I did not consider when I first decided to run, which is just pretty amazing to me. Moving on to the second thing that I would like to talk about is the challenges that I faced in Chinese debate team and house leadership. Why did I group these two together? It's because they have a similar characteristic. I started joining the debate team and taking house roles when I was in year 6, then worked hard throughout my secondary and ultimately was able to take on leadership role this year. I can say that these 2 jobs are where my strength lies, but there's also area of challenges which will enable me to develop better skills as I go through them. And in fact, that is what happened. The biggest challenge that I recall from this year's debate is of course our match against Huayin College in Tsingtao debate competition. Huayin College is the winner of last year's Tsingtao debate out of a stunning number of 160 top schools in Hong Kong. When we have the chance to face them in a friendly debate last year, we literally stood on stage not knowing how to respond. And so, when we found out that our first match in the competition is going against Huayin, we were all pretty helpless and devastated. But we can't just give up. So we did everything we can do, doing mock debates with our coach Ms. Wong, staying at school late for the whole week, trying to persuade normal people like our parents, thinking about analogies to our stance, utilizing our creativity and effort just to strive for a better explanation of our line and a better debate. And it turns out that we won Huayin 3-0, with myself being the best debater. The story teaches me one very important thing that I never realized in my previous debate life. Debate is ultimately about persuasion, and when you can persuade yourself into truly believing in your stance, it becomes your instincts, and you're hardly defeatable. The same goes for any decisions that we are trying to make in our lives. If you don't believe in yourself, don't expect the others to believe. If you can't explain one idea in simplistic terms, you haven't thought about it thoroughly. And if you have already thought thoroughly, there's not much things that you should be afraid of. Overcoming this challenge enables us to have the courage against other best schools, such as Leung Kao Gui, DBS, Chen Sui-ji, and St. Marco, etc. Hence, this also teaches me that we should not take challenges as a threat, and instead should take it as an opportunity for us to know what's the best people and try to learn from them. That's pretty long, but that's just truly what I thought after overcoming so many hard debates this year. And moving on to house matters, Becoming the house cap is beyond just holding meeting or making schedules, but maintaining the enthusiasm of every member and balancing between their ideas. That's about managing others' emotions. I guess that's just the hardest part that always be able to learn more about. Throughout the year, there were quite a lot of cases where we are forced to deal with such public relations problems. Let's just talk about the most memorable one that happens 2 days before. So Thursday is one day before the idol prelims, and our Beethoven ensemble group suddenly told me that they are not ready. I was pretty shocked and stayed after school with another house cap, Melanie, and them, just to see what's their problem. We've heard that they are very unfamiliar with the songs and their lyrics just can't fit into the music. Those lyrics and songs chosen were all done by one student on the team. Let's just call her Student A, who they don't really like. Some of them even told me secretly that they figured out a contingency plan where they will just abandon the current plot and sing another song. But if we change it directly, that's definitely a ruin of that Student A's effort. So what should we do? We decided to go for the original plan first and see whether the flaws are actually that big. This is also done to let Student A realize what's the problem with her plan and perhaps give up if it's needed. Then we soon understood that they are truly incapable to sing this song. Hence, we introduced them to that due to time limits, we have to go for the contingency plan. We played the song, allowed them to walk around and efficiently figure out all their standing positions, formations, and roles in 45 minutes. The art of specialization allows high-pitch people to sing high-pitch, solo people to do solo, harmony people to do harmony, and we quickly shaped the presentation together. Throughout this process, I could see that Student A is not quite happy, but we decided to leave that till the end, as we truly have to chase time and we really have to sort out the whole thing first. Then after the practice, we stayed with Student A and spoke to her about her original plan. We appreciated her creativity, and also apologized for not having enough time, then raises the alternative that she can maybe do it after the prelim round or next year. She seemed to be feeling better afterwards. But this is such a long, stressful process that consistently made me question, is this the best that I can do? Should we tell her from the very beginning that they just don't really like her plan? Is our suggestions of her doing it after the prelim round or having the chance to do it next year actually possible? Or is it just a lie? The results we can't change, but we can adapt with our methods and become a better person. Being a house leader is this complicated process, which always forces me to make decisions and reflect on myself, finding better ways to sort out problems. And finally, moving on to CAS Challenge Week. I think I can do this all day. So, in December, we visited the Care Corner Orphanage in Chiang Mai for a week. Through those days, we built bonds with the children, play with them, bring them to water parks or skis. Thus, help them to build a cafe which will become their training workplace in the future. I myself is responsible for arranging the games session with them. Before going on this trip, I would expect these kids to be very experienced and bored with our games, as Mr. Lai told us that there are over 100 different groups of people visiting them each year. But it turns out that they are very engaged and enthusiastic, not just to our games, but everything we did for them. I wonder, if I were to meet a group of strangers who speak in a different language, would I be as engaged as these children? Underneath their smiles, there must be admirable goodwill, courage, and gratefulness, which brighten the lives and builds up such character. Through our chat with the orphanage founder, we learned that the education system in Thailand was very much corrupted. Real schools around them were not given the best teachers, causing a cyclical problem with their children and a poverty cycle. This made me realize that many people from around the world are just not as fortunate. Thus, I also understood that if there are no people who are willing to help them, they will be trapped forever. Then, shouldn't us, the fortunate ones, be the person who lent out our helping hands? This process makes me aware that reaching out to people in need is what really mean much to me and them. When we leave Chiang Mai, our bonds are just so strong that we feel like never seeing a brother or sister again. Some of us even cried, hugging with the kids so tightly. But aside from feeling the pain of separation, this also makes me think. If every meet and leave can be so bittersweet, should we meet with the Chiang Mai kids in the first place? Are they feeling the same pain every time they meet with a new group of people and lose them after 3 days or 4 days? Are we leaving sufficient good memories for them which compensates this pain? I guess that's just the ethics of choice and the ethics of helping them. So, in conclusion, I'm truly grateful and honored to have participated in the CAS program, which broadened my horizons and actually brought me into thinking about these things and many things that I was previously unaware of. I'll continue my efforts and continue to learn from these precious opportunities I get.